નમસ્કાર, હું આદર્શ છું. વેલકમ ટુ આદર્શ એજ્યુકેશન સોસાયટી.
Hello students, today we will study the question number 8 of exercise 14.3. This is the topic of standard 9, chapter number 14, statistics. So what is the question? Question here is a random survey of number of the children of various age groups playing in a park was found as follows. So one of the table we have given, the two columns are there. First is the age in years and second is number of children. So the class intervals here is, first class interval is age in 1 to 2 year, 2 to 3 year, 3 to 5 year, 5 to 7 year, 7 to 10 year, 10 to 15 and 15 to 17. And here we have given the number of children. We have taken it as a frequency, right? 5, 3, 6, 12, 9, 10 and 4. So here we have to say that draw a histogram to represent the data above. Here we have to represent this data on the histogram, right? So if we see, if we observe here, we can see that the first class interval here is 1. Here also the class interval is 1. Here the class interval is 2. The same way class interval is 2, class interval is 3, 5 and 2. So here the class intervals are different. They are not same, they are not constant. So if we want to draw now the histogram, then some of the changes we have to perform here, right? We have to make the change in the width of the rectangles that we want to draw as a histogram, right? And for that, here two columns we have to add. First is the width of the class. So let's write down the width of the class. Here width is of 1. Here also it is 1. Here the width is 2. Here also width is 2. Now here the width is 3. Width of the class is 5. And here the width is 2 again. Now if all the widths are equal, then there is no issue. We can directly represent the data on the bar graph, as a histogram, right? So if the class intervals are equal, then whatever the rectangles we draw here, its area is then in direct proportion with the frequency. But here the case is different. Here the class intervals are different. We can see that the class widths are different, they are not equal. So if we use this data directly to draw the histogram, then we will get wrong histogram, right? So to make it correct, here we have to change the length of the rectangles. That is why this new column we have to add here, length of the rectangles. So how to do this? There is a method. First of all, from this width of the class, we have to find out the minimum width class. Minimum width class. So minimum width here is 1. Right? Out of all these widths, minimum width is 1. So now according to these widths, we have to change all these widths. Right? So actually what we are doing? We are taking the height according to the frequency. But now this frequency is get changed. The height of the rectangles gets changed. The width of the rectangles remains same as it is according to this class intervals. But their widths are now we have to decrease. Right? Okay. So to do that, what we have to do now? This is we have selected as a minimum class width. Okay. Now to find out the length of the rectangle, that means how high we have to go for first. Here the frequency is 5. So let us take in frequency that is equals to 5. Divide this with its width of the class that is equals to 1 and multiply this data with the minimum class width that is equals to 1. And here again we get the answer is equals to 5. So here the frequency is 5 and the length of the rectangles, both the value we get the same because this class width is according to the minimum class width That is why there is no change. So first class interval is 1 to 2 plus first class interval is 1 to 2, and here we have to take the height of 5, right? No change here we have to make. Second class interval is 2 to 3. Here also the width of the class is 1. Okay, so let us take its frequency, that is equals to 3, divide it with its width, that is 1, and multiply it with the minimum class width. Here again we get the answer is equals to 3. So here also no change is there. 2 to 3 class interval, we have to take the height of 3. Now for the third case, here the width is different. So now what is its frequency? It is 6. Divide this with its width and multiply it with the minimum class width, that is equals to 1. So here we can cut it 2 3s are 6, right? And 3 1s are 3. Now here the change we found, right? Because its class width is 2. So now if for 3 to 5 class interval, 3 to 5, now we do not take the height is equals to 6. Instead of this, we will take the height of only 3. So what we are doing? Decreasing the size. Because by doing this, we get the correct histogram. Now, here also, the class width is 2. So now frequency is 12. Its width is 2. And minimum class width is 1. So here also 2 6 are 12, we can cut, and 6 ones are 6. Here also 9 is there, frequency is 9, divide it with its width, class of width, and minimum class width is 1. So 3 3s are 9 and 3 1s are 3. Here we get the answer 3. Same thing here we have 2, frequency is 10, class width is 5 and minimum class width is 1. So here we get the answer 5 to the 10. So 2 will get the answer. And here also 4 is the frequency. If class width is 2, divide by 2, multiply with minimum class width. So here we get the answer again. Okay, so now instead of taking these frequencies as a height, now we will consider these values. These are our new lengths. How high we have to go, right? So two axes are there. On this axis, horizontal axis, we have taken the age in years, and on this axis we have taken the number of children, or we can say the frequency. Here we have taken the frequency, or we can say the number of the children. Now for first class interval is 1 to 2, so we have to take the width is equals to 1 to 2, and length of the rectangle is 5. 5 is actually here between 4 and 6, right? So from here we have to draw the first bar. So this is our first bar, that is from class interval 1 to 2. Now for second class interval 2 to 3, from here to here, again here the height we have to taken is 3, right? And 3 is there between 2 to 4, right? So from here 2 to 3 class interval width, we have to go only for the value is equals to 3. Now let us fill this. So this is we have drawn the another histogram, another bar for class interval 2 to 3. Now for 3 to 5, here we do not have to consider frequency is equals to 6. Do not draw this graph, histogram up to 6. We have to take the height only is equals to 3. So 3 means up to here only. But the class interval is 3 to 5. So 3 to 5 is here. So from this point to this point, now we have to draw the graph. But the height is remains is equals to 3. That is equals to this much. Get it? Now the next class interval is 5 to 7. Here also the height we have to take is equals to 6. So 5 to 7. That means for this point. And height we have to take is 6. 6 means up to here. 5 to 7. 5 to 7. This is the height we have to take. Got it? Now next class interval is 7 to 10. 7 to 10 means 7, 8, 9, 10. Up to here. And the height we have to consider is only 3. 3 means up to here. Right? And 3, 7 to 10, that means here, up to here. So this is we have taken the next class interval of 7 to 10. Now the next one is 10 to 15. Height, do not consider 10. Here we have to consider the height, that is equals to 2. Right? For 10 to 15. 10 to 15, that means up to this point. And height we have to consider is only 2. 2 means here. Right? Height we have to consider is only 2. So here we get this next bar. And last one is 15 to 17. Here do not take the frequency 4, we have to take only 2. So 15 to 17. Here also we have to consider the height, that is equals to 2 centimeter, 2 units. Right? So now this is we have completed our histogram here. Right? So why we make this change? Why we change the length of the rectangles? Because if we take these frequencies, then the rule of the histogram, that is the area of the rectangle. Area of the rectangle means this much of the area of one rectangle. That we will not get according to the frequency. Here the area of the rectangle and frequency should be in the proportion, should be in the direct proportion. That means if the frequency is increased, the area should be increased. If frequency is lower, area should be low. So that can be, now we can do by making this one more column here. Right? Here all this height of the rectangles we have to arrange according to the minimum class value. Okay, and by doing this we can get the correct histogram. So this is the correct histogram. Remember, do not take these frequencies here, because if you take here, whenever this is minimum class width, then you will get the right height. But when it is the width is greater, then now instead of taking 6 height, we have to take the height is equals to 3. Right? Okay. So this is all about this lecture. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.